Now, we are now welcoming Dr. Segomotso Magzimah, Doctor of Public Health from South Africa. Very welcome, Dr. Untitled. Are we losing Dr. Segomotso? Dr. Segomotso, are you around with us?
Hello, doctor. Can you unmute your microphone?
Yes, I've unmuted.
Oh, okay. There we go. Welcome, doctor.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm Dr. Segomotso Magzimah from South Africa in the Northwest Province in Klerksdorp. Okay. It's a pity I couldn't listen to the previous presentation so that I could also learn from it.
Okay.
Yes, I would ask Dr. Lambert to share the screen. I just wanted to put the face behind the name. That is myself, and those are my qualifications before I could get my public health doctorate from AIU. And I hope the picture looks professional.
It does.
Yes, Doc, we may continue with the presentation.
Yes, okay.
This is my table of contents. It has got the title, the background. As you can see, I will not go through the entire table, but it is just to have or to present to the audience the outline of my presentation. We can move to the next slide. The universe is alive, are you? That is the question that we are trying to respond to this afternoon. And I base my presentation on UNESCO Sustainable Developmental Goal 3. As I mentioned that I'm a public health specialist. So this Sustainable Developmental Goal focuses on good health and sustainable well-being. We may continue, Doc. The background. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Now, here I was quoting Dalai Lama. We know him very well. As you can see in the picture there, he is with our late Bishop Emeritus Tutu, who had previously received a Nobel Prize for Peace. Hence, I had to bring them together to show the world that these are the icons who fought for peace in the world. So there I was quoting the Dalai Lama. Life is from B to D, birth to death. What is between B and D? It's C, and C is about choices. Now, what this means is that life is about the choices that one make. Do you make bad choices? Do you make good choices? From B to D. Before you reach D, your life will be determined by the choices that you have made. Live well, and it will never go wrong. I decided to have this picture because when you look at this picture, you see life. Do you feel alive? What does feeling alive mean? It is to be passionate at the moment without thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, forgetting time. You just forget time and you focus on the present. You focus on the now. You become alive. You live or you disregard what happened yesterday. You don't think about problems for tomorrow. You focus on the now, and you be yourself. You be happy. It is about the frame that you choose to put around things. Which frame have you chosen to put around things? And I would talk to exercising control here. Are you able to control whatever you are putting inside so that your life is in control and you are able to feel alive? Being alive is already a marvel of nature, as it is depicted in the picture that you see. Let's move on, Doctor. Are you growing? What does growing mean? It is undergoing a natural development by increasing in size and changing physically. Now, here we are referring to the developmental growth. And are you growing? Personal growth is another type. That is being a better person and more efficient in business and life. So others would say, okay, I'm growing personally, meaning that they are growing efficiently as far as business is concerned and as far as their general life is concerned. That's how others would define this. It is the process of improving oneself through such activities as enhancing employment skills. That is now when one studies further so that one can be more employable and more marketable. That is enhancing employment skills, increasing consciousness. That is, you increase your level of knowledge, you increase your insight, you increase your intellect, you increase just as I mentioned earlier on, your level of knowledge. And others would think of building wealth as form of growing. You look at what you have accomplished, you look at what you have accumulated in terms of wealth, in terms of earthly belongings. So others use that to measure growth, but people measure growth differently. Learning from your mistakes, not dwelling on the past. And this is what I like most, because this is what I believe in. This is what makes me believe that a person is growing. If a person is able to identify their own mistakes and learn from them, and just focus on the future and forget the past, then I can call this learning, because then a person will take this as lessons learned and apply them on the present life so that same mistakes are not repeated. Next one. We are continuing with the question, are you growing? Self-improvement of your skills, knowledge, personal qualities, life goals, and outlook. I talked about knowledge earlier on. So skills also do pitch here that, when you improve your skills, you know that you are growing. How do you improve your skills? Without knowing your skills, you must know your skills first, identify your skills first, improve on them so that you can measure your growth. Your personal qualities, identify your own qualities, enhance qualities, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and work on your weaknesses. Then you are growing. Life goals and outlook. Which goals have you set for yourself? Do you just live without setting goals that you want to realize? Measurable goals that are measurable or with measurable objectives. What is it that you want to achieve in life? Then what outlook do you display? Do you display a negative outlook? Do you display a positive outlook? But when you display or rather your life will be determined by your outlook, what you display. Whenever you seek to better yourself in any way, be it your temperament, your formal education, or your maturity, you are seeking personal growth. You cannot say you are growing when you're not maturing. You must mature just like wine, so you would know that you are growing personally. Let's continue. Are you focused on what is essential in your life? Now here I wanted to define the word focus. What does it mean? It is a confidence that is based in experiential knowledge. You become focused only when you have this confidence that is based in experiential knowledge. Experiential knowledge is, you know, that we study theory, but what we learn from theory, we should apply it into our daily life. We should practice it. We should apply it, practice it. Experiential learning, that's when you know that you are focused and you have confidence in doing this. It is this inner peace that comes from having direction and knowing where you are going and having a plan for how to get there. Do you have direction in life? Are you focused? You need not remove your eyes from the goalpost and knowing where you're going. Do you know where you're going? Do you have direction? Because direction is about one, knowing where they're going and having a plan for how to get there. Do we have plans? You know, in the beginning of the year, most of the companies would develop strategic plans, 5 years, 3 years strategic plans. They would develop operational plans out of that based on their calendar year for that particular year. But personally, do you have a plan for yourself, or do you only plan for what you would like to do for your employer? What about you? Do you have your own goal? Do you have measurable objectives? Do we have activities with deadlines? Have you set yourself indicators that will assist you to measure your growth? Do you look back in monitoring and evaluation to look whether you have attained? Do you have to look whether there are specific outputs that you can see or you can envision? So basically, this is about that. Are you happy with your life? Are you focused in your life? Do you set these and do you measure your deliverables? Do you set yourself the key performance areas for your own self, not for your employer, not for your businesses? Living with diligence and focus is not a personality type. It's a skill. So one must have this skill of being focused. It is a skill that one cannot go to school for. You can have this even if you have not been to school. It is not about personality. To simply persist with the task at hand. You have this task at hand, you are focused, you continue with it. You want to see the desired results, to continue to work towards whatever it is that you need to do and ensure that you stay concentrated on that one activity. It isn't multitasking, that is being focused. When you are focused, according to this definition, it means that you don't multitask. There is a specific task that you are focused on, that you are applying your mind on, that you give your full attention and your full concentration, so that you are able to yield the results for the task at hand. Let's continue. Now, the 6 habits of highly focused people. We are continuing with being focused. One, what do we mean by one when we say that a person should be focused, and what habits support people who are highly focused? deeper focus and outstanding results, no matter what kind of work you are doing. Now, this talks to the habits, but now what we mean here is a deeper focus and outstanding results. You don't just want to reach or to have results, but those results should be outstanding, no matter what kind of work you are doing. This does not depend on the complexity of the work that you are doing, no matter how complex or no matter how easy the work is. But once you have got the focus that is deeper, then you will be able to yield outstanding results. Now, these people, they love routines. They love what they do every time in the morning, every day. When they wake up in the morning, they know that the first thing that I do is I do this, I get into my office, I open my laptop, I grab a cup of coffee, I come back, I greet friends. That is routine until maybe they start the business of the day at around 10 o'clock in the morning. They prefer routines. They do not want to be distracted from the routines. They get frustrated when you give them something else. They may get, not just they get, but they may get frustrated. People who are highly focused, when you give them a different task to do, because they love routines. They procrastinate productively. They may waste time. Just as I say that they may just go from one office to another, greeting people, but they are productive at the same time. They may be slow, but they will produce those outstanding results at the end. They ruthlessly eliminate distractions. Hence, this one goes with the first one, that they love routines, so they do not want to be distracted. They are compassionate with themselves. They love themselves. They come first. They focus on themselves so that they can have the energy to focus. They take advantage of inspiration, but they do not rely on it. Yes, they may be inspired by others. They may listen to others, motivating them, but they will not take everything from what the motivators are inspiring them about and rely on it. They may be very selective about that, and they have very clear values because they know what they want. They know what they want to achieve. So their values are very, very clear. Hence, this one may go with 4, where we say that they're very compassionate with themselves. So if you're compassionate about yourself, you set values, you've got very clear values. You are time-bound, you set values like the turnaround times that I will have achieved, even though you may delay, but you set yourself timelines to say, my turnaround time for this task at hand is this one, and they're able to achieve that. We may continue. Now there we have our legend, the late, our president, Dr. Nelson Mandela. I quote, "The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear," close quote. Nelson Mandela. How do you deal with fear? Conquering fear means harnessing the fear response and using it to your advantage. Learning how to conquer fear begins with finding your center. By finding your center, we mean that you need to find a balance. Now, after finding your balance, you conquer your fear. How do you conquer your fear? You harness response. How are you going to respond to your fears? And how are you going to use this to your advantage? It is very critical for a person to identify their fears. Do you know your fears? Identify your fears. Know your fears. Fears are different. People are afraid of so many things. It is worse today, given what we've been through recently, given the pandemics that we're going through, given the natural disasters that we're experiencing these days. People have got constant fear. People live in fear. And some people are forever anxious because of this fear. People have panic attacks because of this fear. Now, the fear that I prefer is this fear that is known as the fear of the unknown. You are so afraid, but you don't know what you are afraid of. You are forever in fear. And when someone asks you, what are you afraid of? You say, I don't know, but I've got this fear. So you need to identify your fears, including the fear of the unknown. What is it exactly that you are afraid of? Recognize that fear can work to your advantage. Yes, once you identify it and you harness the response, the very fear that you are afraid of may work to your advantage. Sit with it. Sit with your fear. Understand your fear. Know your fear. Communicate with your fear. Create goals that are must. That you feel that whether you have time or not, whether you procrastinate or not, these are the goals that you need to reach to deal with this fear. Recognize the excuses. Do you perhaps make excuses when you are supposed to face your fears? When there's this mountain that is facing you and you come up with excuses, fear of heights. No. I'm not able to, I will be sick on that day. I will not be able to accompany you to the mountain because you have this fear, but you can't face it. Now you come up with excuses. Surround yourself with success. Apply the law of attraction. Raise your standards. You know, when you surround yourself with success, you become successful. That is positive thinking. That is being optimistic at all times. You surround yourself with success. Success does not just mean you surround yourself with successful people. It depends on what one's definition of success is. Because some people may define success as being wealthy. Some people may define success as having reached all your goals. Some people may define success as having control of your life, having a balanced life. So what is your definition of success? Surround yourself with that success. Apply the law of attraction.
Never mind, Jeremiah.
All right, thank you.
Please ignore any sound that you hear. I'm so sorry about that, Dr. Segomotso. People, please, I'm begging you again to do your best to mute your microphones if you are not speaking. Particularly wise Dr. Segomotso at this moment had to pause presentation. Please do us that favor. If you're not, well, not if you're not, you actually are not. This is the time exclusively for Dr. Segomotso. Please, let's attend and enjoy this presentation together. I'm so sorry about this interruption, Dr. Segomotso. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Doctor. The law of attraction. What does the law of attraction mean? You attract yourself with positiveness, positive outlook. When you look at the environment negatively, you attract a negative response. So you have a positive outlook. You look around, you appreciate nature, you appreciate yourself, you appreciate your surroundings, even though there's nothing. Even when you're feeling negative sometimes, and you're feeling that your mood is low, you just look around and you appreciate the tree that you have planted in your yard. You look at the mountain, you appreciate nature. You look at a bird flying, you appreciate nature. That is the law of attraction. You raise your standard, raise the bar. You cannot lower your standard when you want to grow personally. When you want to feel alive, you raise your standards. But they must also be measurable. When you raise your standards, they must not be too high, because you may not be able to sustain them. So make sure that you sustain the standards that you set for yourself, but raise them. Adopt a growth mindset, a positive mindset of growth. This is what I want to achieve, and I will achieve. By the end of this month, I shall have achieved 1, 2, 3. That's a growth mindset. Like for example, those who would want to pursue their PhD with the university. I had earlier on one presenter or one participant saying that they would like to enroll for that. That is a mindset that you are focusing on. You want to grow. You want to grow academically. Focus on that. And when the program may be a 3-year program, but you can do it in half of 3 years. I'm not sure, 1.5. Yes, 1.5 years. You can be able to attain that so long as you've set realistic goals and you push yourself harder. You focus on the goal post so you can be able to reach that. Find valuable insight in pain. Even when you're going through pain, find insight that is valuable. Yes, I'm having this pain, but I shall overcome this pain. I'm going through this painful situation, but I shall overcome. Going through pain gives you an opportunity for growth. You are able to grow. And there's this singer who says he has got this song, the first cut is the deepest. The second time around, even when the same pain comes, the feeling will not be the same because you've gone through the worst. So that also gives you an opportunity for growth. Visualize your goals. You visualize them. You have them. They are there because you are focused. You visualize them. Give power and energy to solutions. When you've got challenges, you say, yes, I have this challenge, but my intention is to come up with this solution so that I can be able to deal with the challenges that I'm having. You must have, you employ your decision-making skills, your problem-solving skills. You exercise control, and you look at the best possible solution, and you resort to that solution. That also will give you the power and the energy to respond or to attain your goals. I'm not able to read the second one because of what is appearing on the screen. The message that is appearing on the screen is disturbing me.
I'm sorry. What is the issue now that Segomotso?
The message, the comments, as participants make comments, or it's just that one. Accept that you'll fail. We need to accept failure. Each one of us, we have been through some form of failure in our lives. When we go through that, accept that yes, here I did not make it. I had set goals for myself, but I could not reach them due to circumstances beyond my control. Accept so that you deal with the situation. We tend only to celebrate success and we do not talk about failure. We need to talk about failure, laugh about it, so that the past remains behind and we are focused. Next slide.
It might be a moment also for me to remind you that Segomotso, that we need a 15-minute window for questions from our audience, please, if you can.
Okay, doctor. This is the 11th slide. What is love? Love involves a mix of emotions and behaviors and beliefs. It is characterized by passion, intimacy, and commitment. It is associated with strong feelings of affection, protectiveness, warmth, and respect for another. To love is to hold dear. That's why I have that heart, the red heart there, because love is felt. It's a feeling. It is felt from the heart. Okay, Doc. Now, in support of the previous slide, I have here William Shakespeare. The sonnet is sonnet 116, where he talks about love. He's trying to define love. What is love? And I will not read it through, but I will just pick up some sentences. Let me not, to the marriage of true minds, admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. So what this means is love does not change. Love is love. It does not even bend with the remover to remove. So when you love a person, you love the person. Even when the person is not there, no one can remove that from you until you reach a certain mark. Yes, that's what I just wanted to flag this for those who are who are not familiar with this sonnet. Please know the sonnet, read the sonnet with understanding, know it and understand it, and internalize it. It's a very beautiful sonnet that talks about love. Next slide. What does it feel like to be alive? What do we mean by having life? And having life clearly is not dead or inanimate. When a person is not dead, the person is alive. But are we alive? Sometimes we think that we are alive. When we are dead, we are alive, but we are dead because we are not living. Now there's the 6 full life aspects, the full life framework. As you can see, the first one, physical health, taking care of ourselves physically. Do we exercise? Do we eat good? Family and relationships. What relationships do you have with our family? Is it a relationship that is good for your health, that will give you life? Is it a relationship that affects your life? This is a very big topic because we know that so many people are going through so many issues with families. Wealth and money satisfaction. Does it make you alive? Work and career prosperity. Do we have, now this can talk to unemployment. It's like we're only talking to people who are employed, but there are people who are unemployed, who wish to have a job, but they do not have a job. Are they also alive? Do they feel alive? Or do they feel dead when they're alive? Spiritual wellness. What is your spirituality? What do you believe in? Philosophy says you must believe in something. A person must have a belief system. What you believe in can make miracles, whether that is alive or not. Whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in God, but whatever you believe in, as a philosopher, philosophers believe that one's belief system, strong belief system, can make miracles. The mental strength, we need it these days. It is, as I mentioned, the catastrophes that we went through generally in life. Many people are suffering from mental illness. What do we do to enhance our mental strength? This is very critical. We need to do our best to remain sane, to preserve our sanity. Let's continue. In conclusion, creating essential habits, live in a way that allows you to show up to the world in a way that feels natural and real to you. Pursuing goals and ambitions that are in line with your values and innate skill set. You focus, you protect the essentials, you declutter your mind, you take a new perspective on the word no. You say no without feeling guilty. If it is no, it should be a no. Don't satisfy people. Most of us put other people first, and we come second, and we satisfy them, even though we are not satisfied. So we should learn to say no without feeling guilty and be authentic, be real. Thank you very much. I think I've come to the end of my presentation. You may show the other slides, Doc. That is my bibliography. Show the last one, the last slide. Thank you. Sometimes we need to be broken to see the true meaning of being alive. I thank you. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that was very, very impressive, Dr. Segomotso, and I am very thankful to you. And we are all grateful to you, the entire family of Atlantic International University, as well as the attendees of this symposium on the topic of the universe is alive, AIU. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna make comments so that the attendees have enough opportunities to ask questions. But let me just remind, ladies and gentlemen, remind you that one thing that I retain, particularly from this presentation, which encompasses everything that we heard from Dr. Segomotso, is a slogan, live well and it will never go wrong. You live the exact way that you are supposed to do, particularly when you declutter your mind, when you get rid of so many debris, so to speak, that are surrounding your mind, then everything's gonna be fine. The first question with Barnabas Mac. Go ahead, Barnabas, if you will, please. Turn your camera and your microphone on. We are all ears for your question.
Okay, thank you, AIU, for this wonderful opportunity. I thank the last presenter for a well-articulated presentation. I want to ask a question bordering on her second point that people should be focused. People should focus on the essentials in order to stay alive. And I want to ask, essential things are determined by society, and education is the way for which these essentials are delivered to people. In an eroded society, where a focused individual is simply seen as a fool, one who is just wasting his time. Because, education has some dividends. So a focused person has it in mind that after education, he has to reap back from the society. So in an eroded society, where values are eroded, so what can the presenter say about being focused? I don't know if that question is clear enough.
Yes, I think you would like to know about how can one remain focused in a society that is eroded.
A society which values are eroded, so to speak.
What about the values? Society whose values are eroded.
Yes.
Yes, we live in a society that is ill. We live in a society that is hurting. We live in a society that is angry. We live in a society that lives from the past. Recently now in South Africa, there was a study that was conducted to measure the happiness of South Africans. And the study, the findings of the study are that people are angry. Anger takes the lead. People are angry because of so many things that are happening. Now, how do we remain focused when the society's values have eroded? What is our role in dealing with such societies? I talked about mental health, for example. What is our role in making sure that we deal with social ills of the societies? How do we address the issue of mental illness? People cannot focus anymore. We need to identify the roles that we can implement in our society so that societies that are full of life help us to become focused. We've got gender-based violence that is affecting our societies. What is our role as people in the know? How do we deal with that? Which structures do we form in the societies that will help victims deal with gender-based violence? How can we help perpetrators identify their weaknesses because they get strength from abusing others? What is our role? Do societies, do they know their values? What is our role in reminding societies of their values? Because values are there, values are learned from one generation to the other. But as generations change, we tend to leave values behind. So it is critical that we stand up, we form, we use the platforms like the community-based organizations. We used platforms like the NPOs, non-governmental organizations. We used big platforms like churches to reincarnate the values in the societies so that we can all move along. It's a process. We've got a serious challenge of crime everywhere. We've got a serious challenge of drug use, especially among the youth. How do we take back the youth of today to emulate the youth of the past? Because the youth of the past was focused on the future, but the youth of the now just wants the now that is quick. I'm not sure if I've answered or if I've posed other questions to you to think about.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. We're now going to Parker Wignanen. If you are ready for your comment, Parker.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you, Doctor, for the wonderful presentation that you've made. I realize that being alive really is something that must come from within. It must be intrinsically built. However, the extrinsic factors really impact one's ability to feel alive. And so my question really is, in the midst of crisis, and we're talking about deteriorating health, social problems, economic hardships, natural disasters, climate change, and all the other factors, including breakdown in the family structure that many a times we are confronted with. How do we find inner peace to be able to enjoy life as it should be enjoyed? Thank you.
Finding peace finding peace where there is no peace. Finding peace in the world that has got crisis. Finding peace in the world with serious social problems. Finding peace where the economy is unstable. Finding peace in this weather, extreme temperatures, and the family structures that are very much unstable. How do we find peace? What is peace? Peace starts with yourself. If you have inner peace, if you are stable, if you've got a stable center, and you surround, we talked about the law of attraction. Surround yourself with peace. Seek peace. You have inner peace. You are able, when people look at you, they're able to draw nearer, draw closer to you because you give them peace. They will draw this peace from you. The peace, in theology, we know that we talk about the peace that surpasses all understanding. So if you have found your peace, you are able to stabilize your surroundings, and people are able to draw strength from you and balance their lives with the peace that you alone have.
Thank you. I don't know if you have peace, Ismail Mohammed. We are turning up to you right now for your question.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can hear you very
well.
clearly.
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor, for this wonderful presentation in which we heard about great men like Dalai Lama, Tito, Mandela, and Shakespeare. This brings a lot of richness to this presentation. But to be brief, I have one question or a comment. You said that people should set miserable goals in their life and focus on them and continue focusing on them and struggling for them. Meanwhile, I think this kind of speech can charge young people with motivation and inspiration. But for people who are grown up, they know that life is not that way, because there are many obstacles, many things that prevent you from realizing your goals. We always had that jobs always choose us, not we who choose our jobs or our careers, but careers choose us. That means that we are sometimes not realizing the goals we are setting ahead. I want you to give a little clarification about this, whether we are always realizing what we plan beforehand, or life is like a stream that brings you and you have to swim with it. That's my first question. There is a smaller comment. You said also that for the SDG 3, the Sustainable Development Goals, you said in the presentation it is UNESCO goals. I didn't understand exactly whether they are UNESCO goals or United Nations goals. That's a small comment. Anyway, I thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
We highly appreciate your comments. You want to add up something, Doctor?
Yes. Thank you, Doc. Thank you for the question. That is quite stimulating. The way I understand it, you say sometimes we set goals and we are not able to achieve them. We need some motivation. You know, we go through ups and downs in life. And even when you fall, you must stand up. You must focus. Be motivated. Be inspired. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic needs. Most of the time, we are not able to reach all the needs according to the hierarchy. But the basic ones, sometimes we don't even have the basic ones. Safety and security. Is it there? Are we safe? Are we secure? Water, air. Are we safe? Are we secure? We've just suffered the pandemic. Now that talks to the air that we breathe. So that affected us. So even though we want to reach the goals that we set for ourselves, many a times we are not able to reach them, to attain them. Love and belonging, that talks about people around you, that talks about family, that talks about friends. Do we have love? Do we feel love? Do we give love? Do we receive love? So sometimes this affects us, but we must strive for excellence. Be optimistic in order for us to realize this. Now, when you go through you go up the hierarchy, there's self-actualization. And it is said that no one has ever reached self-actualization. Why? Because we keep on setting goals. We set goals that we want to achieve. Some we do achieve, some we do not achieve. But even though you feel that you have achieved all the goals that you have set for yourself, the self-actualization, the last one, you still want to do more. You still want more. You still want a higher ranking job, a higher offer. You still want to move up the ranks, even though you are 60 years old. That's self-actualization. You are still pushing to reach self-actualization. But it is also moving away from you, higher and higher. So sometimes it becomes difficult for one to do so. But given the realities of life, we need to be motivated to realize our goals and set goals that we are able to achieve. If we are not able to achieve such goals, we adjust them. We don't set standards that are too high for us not to reach. We've got alarming proportions of unemployment rates worldwide. Our country, I think, I'm not sure how it's ranking. But remember that even those people had their own goals that they had set for themselves. So we tend to reach them differently. It's not that they are failures. It is that they may have reached something in life, but it's not what they actually would or want themselves to be. Not where they want themselves to be. So we need to remain motivated. We need to remain inspired so that we're able to attain the goals that we have set for us. But they must be measurable so that we get measurable outputs.
So that we do not get off track, because if we choose goals that are not measurable, of course, we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to. Discouraged. Okay, now we're going to Felton, Yayan, Felton.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Good morning, everyone.
Dr. Intesti, how are you? Thanks so kindly for this wonderful presentation. I look it off more like from a motivational point, where you're speaking as a motivator, trying to motivate us as your audience. But there are kind of things that I'm looking into when we speak about being alive. It is up to us, like you said, to have a measurable goal, a measurable career that we can set for ourselves to attain. But in attaining those goals, there are ups and downs. Like you just we are graduating from the pandemic. Those are things that that being alive affects, right? Currently, we look at the situation in Ukraine. We look at the climate situation. There are so many things that prevent us as human from being alive, and that takes me to what I just said. What can we do in preventing these obstacles that prevent us from being alive? One, like you said, we need to set up measurable goals. What happened? Those measurable goals are not meeting up with the climate or the location you find yourself. You find yourself in some economics wherein things are just not meeting up to your career goals. Things are not meeting up with situation that you have are preventing you from being alive. What are the points? What do we need to do that can encourage people within those economy that find themselves not getting or being alive? Like you said, the UNESCO goals, SDG 3. Bring us all alive. Is that a part that affects us from where you sit? Let's look at it from different geographic. If you go to America, you go to Australia, you go to Asia, does it actually brings us together?
Thank you very much for your question, Felton. Unfortunately, we are once more going out of time. We're running out of time. But we're gonna, of course, allow Dr. Segomotso to come up with a brief answer as we have the next presenter who is ready for the presentation. And